I am so glad that Patreon is patient. Hey! The coffee is hot tonight, and it's Romania Black. And yeah, I went on a trip this weekend for work, and I was gone from Friday to Sunday. And the only thing that I was sad about while I was gone is the fact that I was going to miss Blue Lock episode 5. Because I was sitting there the whole time. I was like, when I was planning out this trip, I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to miss Sunday. I'm going to miss Saturday's episode. I'm not going to be back in time Sunday to post it. And I'm like, I'm going to have to watch this Monday night after work. And so here I am. So thank you, Patreon, for being so patient with me. I know I had a couple people on Twitter being like, where's the episode? And I'm like, well, go back and watch my update video. There should only be, if I'm correct in my thinking, there should only be one more time that I may not post an episode until Monday or Tuesday, and that's going to be in December. So the rest of November, we should be good. Fingers crossed, we should be fine the rest of November as far as getting episodes posted on time. So that should not hopefully be a problem. But if something does come up, if I'm sick one day or something happens, since I'm watching this week to week, I'll let Patreon know. But I've been waiting all day. I've been at work being like, I want to watch episode 5. I want to watch episode 5. So that's where we're at. And I have a couple things to look at. So we have some comments. Leander Larson 2676 noted that in the additional time of Ada's ways to hit on girls, he says that these are all things that Rayo has done to Nagi. Last episode was amazing. It was Chameleon. It was Rayo's story. I was so happy. Rayo's one of my favorites. I was living. And so, yeah, the fact that all of Ada's hints on hitting on girls that Rayo has done for Nagi feels correct. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I did have an extra comment here. Wim is the moderator for this series, and they do an amazing job. And they do a good job, too, if people post things that are spoilery. Look, here's the thing. If you are just a YouTube commenter and you are not supporting me on Patreon, and you talk about the manga versus the anime, I'm probably not going to read your comment. I'm not going to lie, because Wim's probably going to flag it and be like, no. But if you are a patron, or if Wim finds some parts of your comment to be important, like Wim did give me a thing today saying, hey, just so you are aware, there was a line left out of the episode today that is in the manga, and they spoiler tagged the panel. So that's the proper way to do it, is if you go through Patreon, you go through the moderator, you explain something, the moderator gets it to me. There has to be a channel, because otherwise people in the comments are just like, hey, here's the difference. Even though I've explicitly said multiple times in every series I've watched, I don't want to know that. People just tend to not listen or read or respect the content creator that on YouTube is giving you free content. But oh well. But I am grateful for Wim on Patreon, who's being super congenial about that and organizing this. So they took a comment from .7568. They said part of it was spoilery, but they did give me a screenshot of what I could read from it. So I want to take a moment and read that. Saying, it's interesting that you mentioned the thing about being submerged in water when referencing March Comes In Like a Lion, which is another series I'm watching on this channel. If you have not seen March Comes In Like a Lion, watch it. It's so good. But anyway, water and fire definitely, in my opinion, have a deeper meaning in Blue Lock, though I'm not 100% sure exactly what the correct meaning is. Well, that's a good thing about, as an English major, literature and literary criticism and analyses are often subjective, so that's the fun part about it. Perhaps you've noticed or remember, but for example, throughout season 1, they often mention heat or lighting a fire, and the aura often looks like a flame. Igo Jinpachi talks about the best striker appearing where soccer or football is the hottest. Bachira was visualized to be underwater, if you remember around episode 21 or 22 from season 1. Worth noting as well is that Rin's aura is water. So yeah, that is fascinating to me. And now we've seen Asagi underwater as well. So I'm very curious that's a good question. So if we were to break down the meaning of it, we know that we have seen some strikers with fire igniting under them. And flame, here's the thing. I'm going to use kind of, I don't know if this is exactly Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I've seen this in other, I'm going to reference Memoir of a Geisha is what I'm going to reference, because I remember that in Memoirs of a Geisha, the main character, she has blue eyes. And I remember there's a woman in the very beginning of the series that tells her the blue eyes connects her to water as her element. And that water, no matter what happens, water will find a way to break through anything. And so I like the idea in Blue Lock then of there being fire. Like some of these characters are connected through fire and they are igniting, and fire burns everything. It's all consuming and it's powerful and destructive and it breaks things down. And I could see why it would be emblematic of Blue Lock, because a lot of what it's trying to do is break down the U-20. But I like water in terms of Bachira, Reen, and Isagi, our favorite threesome in this series, because they are breaking down and breaking through things in a different method. So you could look at Bachira breaking through in his own way, his own slump, and his own to find his creativity, to find his inspiration. You can view Isagi through a lot of means of worming his way with the water and carving his own path. And now that we've seen that flashback with Sai, it's like Reen is doing the same thing. He's carving his own path with his own means. So that's what I think the water represents. It's that these characters are carving their own path and they're slowly but surely whittling through whatever strong barrier is in front of them. And they're going to like somehow manage to find a way to crack through and leak and cause a flood. Whereas you have characters like Baro or others that are just like going to blaze and burn and find a way to just barrel through the competition. Here's the thing though. Fire can spread rapidly, quickly, and be super powerful. But eventually it's going to run out of steam. Water is consistent and pretty sturdy and will keep on going until something eventually stops it. But very interesting. So thank you, .7568. I think that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that comment. And then also, I wanted to make note that there was an extra comment card that was clipped from there, and then we read that. ZGASADOs said that Rin's favorite animal is an owl. So he does indeed want to eat Isagi as a larva. Okay. The metaphors are there, y'all. The metaphors are right there. He wants Isagi in his mouth. We all saw it. And then Rink in70 said the soundtrack in episode 4 is the same as Rayo's in the movie, in the Nagi episode movie. And I thought that was really cool. I liked that. So, like I said, there apparently is some manga panel that has a line that's left out of this episode that Wim said is fairly important. So we're going to make sure, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to pull it up on Discord when we're done with this episode and pull it up to where we can all see it in the discussion. And we're going to go from there. So that is good to know. But I'm so excited, y'all. I cannot wait. I've literally waited 3 days and I'm like, I want to see this dang episode. So let's do it. We're going to start episode 5 of Blue Lock season 2. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And let's go. I do have my blue Kool-Aid at the ready. I just didn't feel like getting it out till the discussion. So if one is curious, I didn't forget about it. I almost did, but oh yeah. Oh, we've moved quite a bit. We've moved quite a bit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, oh my God, we've moved really fast, actually. I thought we'd get to episode 8, but not the case. Oh my God, Whiteboard Coon's gonna be flooded. Oh my God. This moved so quickly. Oh. Oh my God. Ah! Oh my God. Isagi get in between. Oh my God. Oh. Oh shit. Crack-a-lack. Oh my God. Toki's like, stop. Oh. 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 You put electric shock anti-riot measures in their uniforms? How expensive are these uniforms, Ego? We're finding out today? What? We missed all of it? We're finding out now? I thought see some more games, but we're not. Oh, we need to skip the intro. I forget. I was too floored to skip the intro. Flow. Even flow. Oh my God. Oh, too many cooks, too many cooks, too many cooks. Wow. Uh-oh. Oh, is he going to leave out Ryusei or Rin? Oh my God. It's happening in 30 seconds! I'm nervous! What? Oh, the correction room. Oh. Okay, no surprise. No surprise. That was it. Oh, shit. I love that he's like, I got a chance. Oh my God, this is happening now. Why Raccoon's not ready for this episode? No, he's not. With the Crocs. No. He looks like he hasn't slept. Huh. I wonder if the Burt's guy, if he was calling Ego to tell him he was going to have to play. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is happening now. Ah! Oh, okay. Rain. Surprising. No. His Band-Aid. His new Band-Aid. Okay. So that's one. I can't believe we're doing this now. Oh my God. Oh, destruction follows destruction. Oh, he is like an owl, yeah. Oh my God. The bullets that escalate that destruction. Oh my God. Who's the goalie? Geen! Oh! Oh, me? I mean, he did have the butt move. He did do that. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God! Go Geen! I can't believe he made it! Good job, Geen! The Guardian! Geen the Guardian! How cute! Oh, his hair's also grown out too. Center backs. Jujubee! Nico! Oh, Nico made it! And Jujubee made it! Holy shit! Oh! 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 Shigeri made it! Yes! And Bachira! Oh, I'm good now! We're good now! Well, I want Ryo and Nagi, but we're good now. Ah! I was so afraid Shigeri wouldn't make it. Oh, but what? Tobito. Okay. Well, he's like the lookout. He's like the crow's nest. Of course he is. Okay. Oh, hello, sir. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, that doesn't leave hardly anybody. He made it. Oh my God. And can you? Okay. Oh. Nagi has to make it, but I don't think Ryo is. Maybe Ryo is, though, and that would be Asagi, wouldn't it? Okay. Nagi, yes, all makes sense. Okay, Nagi. There's hardly anybody left! Oh my God! It's not going to be Ryusei, is it? They're going to kick him out. Aren't they? Oh, Oh, is it going to be Asagi? Oh. But is that it? Oh my god. That's it. What about Rayo, sweetheart? Oh, sweetheart. Oh, Baro. Oh my god. Oh my god. And Ryusei is not either. Oh. Because he's a loose cannon and we can't trust him. I had to shock him with an electric collar. He couldn't work as a team. Nope. Was not. I made this graphic. And if he gets a red card, that's a problem. He literally headbutted him or kicked him. Oh, but is... Oh my god. Oh. Is Sai going to request that Ryusei play on their team? Is Sai going to play with him and he's going to play on the other team? Is that how this is going to go? Oh. Oh. But the other team requested him. Yes! Oh my god, it is Ryusei! He wants Ryusei. Oh my god, no, Sai and Ryusei, I'm shipping them already. Oh my god, no, I'm shipping Sai and Ryusei already. Let's do this. Let's do this. Why is he Hannibal Lecter? Why is he Hannibal Lecter? Why did they put a muzzle on him? Ah! What is this, Death Note? Sai's gonna go in. Sai is gonna come in here and make out with him. Shut the frick up. Akuma-kun. 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 This is like freaking Death Note. What is this, Tokyo Ghoul Death Note? Oh my god. Ah! Ah! I'm shipping them so hardcore. Let me have this. With the cape! Oh my god! Oh! Oh, you bitch! You bitch! So who's the substitute? Because you said there was going to be a wild card that you could sub in. Does Rayo have a chance? What about the others? Are they just done? Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the shipper's dream. Oh, his voice is so good. What about the others? What about Baro? Oh my god. It's just like bad BO coming from Asagi. Shut the frick up. Well, what about the others? Are you just going to dismiss them? Oh. 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 This guy. The world's best 11. Oh, look at his haircut. Hi, Peaky Blinders. How you doing? An unpleasant prince, Shudo. Oh, Ryusei looks so weird in white. Oh, sir, they are making out in the bathroom, sir. He looks like a Free character. Shudo looks like he's from Free. He is Kasumi's cousin. Transferred here. Bitch, this ain't RuPaul's Best Friends race. He is so a Free character. How did you get here? Oh. Oh. He's like if Asahi and Kasumi had a baby. Oh, I mean, he's like, I'm into something fresh, something better. BL, bitch. Oh, you don't even know the yaoi I consume. Oh my god! Oh, what the fudge? I am a feral mess from this episode. Stop. Oh my god! Who is this foul gay man that is present? Oh, oh yes. David Bowie's got this. He gets his own theme music. He's that badass. Oh, oh, yes. Little puppy. He's a man. Look at the facial hair. David Bowie's like, I don't know if you all know how far my balls drag along the ground, but here we are. I have two-toned eyes, bitch. Why is why is Ditto Bokuto here? He's like if Ditto saw Bokuto. Aiku. Oh, from Sweden. Of course they are. How easy to say it that way. Did the others just go home or are they waiting in the wings? I love that they're like the primary colors here. That's super cute. With their eye colors, red, blue, and yellow. The CGI running by is freaking hilarious. Not intentionally, though. All I can think of is smash burgers. This episode is amazing. I'm in love. Don't make it a total fluke. Don't make it a total fluke. Don't overthink it. Oh. Did I just get in here on your workout routine? Just me and you? It's break time, you know, those abs. It's ab day, Isagi. No, sweetheart, don't overdo it. Let Isagi, you give us that close-up of dim thighs. I mean, are you going to crush him with them thighs? Oh. Isagi's like, I am terrified and aroused. Indirect kiss. Want some? Ooh. Now you're speaking his love language. Now you're getting there. Don't you like it that way? Oh my God, yes. It was a big turn on. Oh, hi. There's so much shipping in this episode. I'm living. Oh my God, look at Ada's little legs crossed. Is Zentetsu there? Who has the goggles? How did Ego have the money to make this Prezi? Where'd you get the stock footage, sir? No, everybody's there. Okay. Everyone's still there. Interesting. Oh, you... Babaro's like, I've not broken out of my shell enough. Ooh. Oh. I do like the shadows on there. Yes, you got in the flow, my dude. That's the water connection. Uh-huh. Mmm. We get into the fire and the water. Yes, good. An objective of optimal difficulty. Oh. Between anxiety and boredom. The flow state. Ah. Right. But if it's too much, then there's anxiety. And you can't see yourself exceeding. Yeah. It has to be that nice little sweet spot. Exactly. It has to be, you have to envision yourself succeeding. But you can't do that unless you challenge yourself. He's like, and that's what it was. His little sparkles in his eyes are so sweet. But this is what he was talking about, the miracle. Yeah, you found a way to create it. Hiyori's like, saving this for my coaching session. Ah. You kids using your social media and the TikToks to cover up your boredom and anxiety. Right, yeah. No, that's not the flow. That's the clag, my friend. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, Camilla's so good for giving this speech. Oh, my God. The diarrhea of that passive trance. Oh, man. The anti-TikTok generation that is ego. I love it. Yes. All right. Uh-huh. Right. Okay. Oh my God. No. Yes. Oh my God. Immersing. Look at Bokuno in the background. Oh, I love this. This is a great setup. I can't believe we're already here. Oh my God. Oh. I love this. The guys in the back are like, what? Why is Ray away in the back? Oh, I love that. That's a good shot. Yes. Oh my God. Okay, we got an additional time. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Oh, Nico, you did it. Oh, yeah. Likewise. Ah! Even Oh. I love that Geen made it. Look at you, sweetheart. You did it. Ah! I'm clamming to your aid. He's like, okay. Oh, Nico, sweetheart. Ryu's gonna try to straighten your hair. Oh. Oh, look at these two tall, muscly men. Aw, Gina's a man of the earth. Oh my god. Wrestle your bear friend. Oh, or play Smash Brothers or look for UFOs. No sense at all. But I get it. We'll talk about it. In pursuit of the ultimate glam. Oh my god, why does he look like Keanu Reeves? And Aaron Yeager. I will not dismiss them. Look at you, Nico, being congenial. Aww. What a sweetheart. Oh my god, I love it. The way of glam. Are you gonna straighten his hair? Oh my god! I love them! This is amazing! You all, no, I don't know if you all understand. I don't know if you all understand the level of fangirling that I am doing right now. Oh my god! You know I had to chug that. Oh! Hi! Welcome to episode 5. I'm not joking. I ain't joking, bitch. I ain't joking. I thought that we were making it to like episode 8. I thought we were going to see a couple more episodes of games, see some people unlock some moves. I at least thought we were getting a Bachara episode. But you know what? We've already had Bachara-centered episodes at the end of season 1. So we kind of unlocked his character already. Okay, the artist. All right, okay, fine, the bumblebee. Okay, so what's interesting to me is that Rayo unlocked last episode and he didn't make the top 11. I thought that him unlocking as the chameleon was a set in stone. Boom, he's in. But we're going to talk through it. And we're also going to talk through the panel that Wim was like, you need to look at this panel because for whatever reason, they didn't show it. So this panel answers all of my questions. Because the moment that I was like, wait a minute, why are Raichi and Baro and them still here? Shouldn't they be gone? Well, there's a reason for that. And the series episode conveniently left it out. And I was like, what? So the episode conveniently left it out. And what's interesting is that it kind of is something that I was hoping for, but I'm like, okay, so this is the panel that was left out that Wim showed me. Will they show it in episode 6? Maybe they were just saving for episode 6 and we're gonna have a whole bunch of scenes about it. I don't know. I've not read the manga. I don't want to know. But this is the panel, and it says U20 versus Blue Lock. That answer will be revealed 15 days from now in front of the entire country. So we got 2 weeks. 2 weeks until this match. That's plenty of time for lots of things to happen. We're going to talk about it. So we got 2 weeks until this match. Perfect. And it said we were able to register 23 players on our roster. Okay. Alexander Q was talking about this, last week and the week before last, saying it would be silly to only have 11 players on the team because, it would be silly because what if somebody gets injured? Like, Ryusei literally clocked Rin in the face, like almost ended his modeling career. And so Ego was like, let's calm down. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything in this episode. I loved every minute of this episode. I was a feral mess. I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to be like, why are you screaming so much? And I'm like, because it's a BL fantasy and shut up. So they are able to have 12 reserves. Which makes sense. You got your wild card in the pack, which was going to be Ryusei, but then Sai decided that he wanted to come and get his lover. And then, oh my God, I'm a shipping mess. Y'all are I'm going to have to calm down. Why'd I chug that? So we have 11 starters, which we're going to break down. And then we have 12 that are the reserves. Or you could call them the second string. We have 12 that are the second string. I'm fine with that. So really, though, out of 23, we had 35. So that means that 12 are going to go home. So of the remaining 24 that weren't chosen, only 12 are going to be our reserves. And in that image, Barrow looks pissed. So we're going to talk about this. So it says, I've yet to decide on the 12 non-starters. So those of you that weren't chosen will make a case for yourselves to seize those spots. Well, that changes everything. So 12 people still got to go. We're going to whittle that down real good. We can whittle that one down. But we're going to whittle down our 12. So we got our 11 starters and we can whittle down our 12 reserves. We're set. We got this. This is a lot better. Blue Lock is easing you into that abyss that is people leaving. Blue Lock's going to ease you into that. Don't you worry. We're just going to get rid of 12 now. We're down to 23. Then we're going to be down to this. We're just going to slowly whittle away. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So we're going to do that. We're going to do our 12 starters over here. We're going to be great. Right as rain. We're going to do that and that'll be fine. All right. Awesome. We'll get to them here in a little bit, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this. So yes, thank you, Wim. I don't know why they didn't show that this episode, unless they were just like, we don't have time. Maybe we're going to show it in episode 6, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I love this so much. I literally almost forgot about the OP. I was so in shock that we were actually getting it. So I didn't watch the OP, but I was just sitting there like, what do we do? So, okay, this first opening scene goes through a lot of exposition really damn quick. And I was like, maybe in the manga it goes by super fast too. And you're just like, oh shit. But the pacing, let's just go through it. So we need to write down exactly what happens because I feel like now you're looking at everyone in the room and Raichi's there and Rayo's there. And I was like, okay, well, we've had multiple matches. That's fair. And he says, so far Team A won all of its matches. So we had Team A was playing 3 times and they won both their matches. So they ended up winning all of them. Okay. But Barrow and Bachara scored goals as well. Okay. So we get some things here. So we had Team A versus Team B in match 4. And we had, okay, so match 3 was Nagi and Kinyu with the Watabi twin and the 2 others that don't matter. And then Ada and Tobito were with Discount Barrow, Raichi, and Nico. Okay, that's interesting. And they won 5-3. So Nagi and Kinyu didn't really win, which is, they haven't won any games so far, which is interesting to me. And then, or maybe Barrow was on the team with Tobito. I was robbed my Barrow and Tobito episode? I was robbed seeing them play together? My crack ship? Excuse me, Blue Lock? How dare you? I can't believe I was robbed Barrow and Raichi interactions with Nico? Where was that match? That match would have been freaking cool. I wanted to see that, damn it. And Barrow scored a goal? Blue Lock. How dare you not show me that? That is a damn tease. That is called edging, sir. Why are you doing that? So we had Bachara with Rin and Ryusei with Minen and Plusle. So they're fine. You can imagine they scored 5-2 and they beat Tobito and them with Illumini, Leak Hair, and other character that doesn't matter. No, fine. Absolutely fine. So those 2 teams won there. And so we had Barrow scoring Otoya, Karasu, and Karasu. Okay. And then Otoya scored, and Nagi scored a goal, scored 2 goals, and Kinyu scored a goal. Fine. Cool. So Barrow did get a goal in before Otoya and Ada and Tobito got theirs in. Cool. And then Shido, Bachara scored a goal, which is great. And then Tobito and Ada scored goals. And Rin and Ryusei, of course, were tied. Of course they were. And Bachara scored a goal. Nice. Okay, cool. So then we were in the final match. It was 4-4 in the final match with Team A. And of course, I think it was Anna that said in the Discord that they kind of shipped Rin and Ryusei. And I was like, I kind of see it, it's opposites attract. If you like an opposites attract ship, then Reen and Ryusei would be a really good ship because they're polar opposites. They don't get along. No, y'all. No. Anna, I totally respect you and you can ship all you want with them. That's great. I respect. I will not judge you at all. But no, now I was like, I just don't feel Ryusei and Reen as a couple. They feel like something else. Now I know what it is. I know what it is now. If you're a sibling and your sibling is married, it's like Ryusei is brother-in-law vibes. Ryusei is brother-in-law vibes because he's not married to Reen. No, he's married to freaking Light Yagami Sayatoshi. That's who he's married to. They're a match made in hell, and I'm living for it. Just you wait till we get that scene. Just you wait till we get to that scene to break it down. Like a freaking mad scientist. I love this episode so much. But yeah, no, that's what it is. Reen and Ryusei, they have no chemical reaction. They don't have chemistry. They have anti-chemistry. And that's fine. That you can make a ship out of that. People have done it lots of times. But no, it's like with the moment that Rasai had the hair that's like pop rocks and Ryusei has the cotton candy hair, it should have been so clear to us. It should have been so clear. Why did I think Ego was going to get to play in this game? I'm sure you all watched the episode and went, Romania, girl, you don't even know. So throughout this entire experience, Reen and Ryusei have not gotten along at all, which, you know what? Blessing in disguise, because not only is Ryusei now out of the picture and Ego's like, okay, well, and we're going to talk about that. I feel like Ego was going to give him up as a starter anyway. I feel like he was watching them play and going, Reen and Ryusei are not compatible. So they're going to be a mess on the court. Ryusei he does not do well at teamwork with Reen, and that's not going to work well. He's probably going to cause a red card because he's violent, physically violent. And he's like, no, I don't like that. And so I think he was actually on the verge of being like, I'm going to bench him because he's a problem. But then if he benched him, he's going to have to deal with him bitching about it. So it almost seems like a blessing in disguise that Sai was like, I want Ryusei to play with me. And it's like, okay. And Ego just was like, yes, perfect. Because not only is Reen going to perform better without Ryusei trying to kill him, but now he's going to be even more pissed because Sai chose Ryusei over his own brother. So of course, everything about this episode was brilliant. I loved all of this. So yeah, Ryusei tried I like that I like Ryusei as a character. Don't get me wrong. I like him a lot. And he acknowledges people's cool moves. Like he says cool beans and wowza and all this, but he hates Reen. Him and Reen, they are like two people that they just don't gel. There's no cushion. There is no connectivity. They just don't get along and they don't match up well. And it's honestly amazing. And that Sai wanted him. I'm like, yes, please. So A team ends up winning the fourth match or the fifth match overall. Team A wins 5-4. And Bachira's like, okay. And I like that Bachira kind of senses. He's like, I have a feeling that they're about to throw hands because it's just not going to end well. Because Bachira, by this point, has already played a game with these two. So Bachira kind of knows, yeah, their chemistry's off and this is not going to go well. Poor Toki, though. Toki's like, you do know the match is over. But yeah, Reen throws a punch at him. And he's like, now I can kill you without any worries. I like that even when Reen is throwing punches and yelling, he just looks beautiful doing so. And he's like, you talentless piece of trash. And Ryu says, I couldn't agree more. I'll curb stomp you and put you out of action for good. Now, he need him. He need him in the face. In the moment, I was like, oh, I couldn't tell if he headbutted him. He need him. That's that could have hurt him really hard because Ryusei's got some muscle. That could seriously hurt Rina. I think at that point, Ego was like, whoa now. you're going to screw this all up for all of us, you asshole. So I feel like Ego was okay with giving them Ryusei because he's like, oh, you want this Hannibal Lecter maniac? Have fun. And then because yeah, even though Ryusei is an impressive talent, he's really hard to control and he's really chaotic and he may gel perfect with Sai. They may be like a match made in heaven. They may be doing Yuri on the Ice figure eights and splits and like making out to Eros on the court. They may be doing that, but I can't see, especially with like the love child of Asahi and Kasumi. With the Shudo, I can't see him getting along with Shudo or any of those other guys. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, Ryusei is like, how dare you hurt my modeling career? And yeah, Ryusei, I like that the blood splatter above Rin as he's like falling to the ground. He like looks over and sees Ryusei and he's like, this guy could actually try to kill me. And then he was gonna drop kick him in the head, saying your head's gonna be a crack-a-lack, Rin. And Toki's like, hey, HR's not gonna like if you murder Rin. And that's when Ego like activates. I like that Ego has had this like under-the-counter speakeasy button this entire time where he could activate an electroshock neuralizer in their uniforms. Spared no expense at Blue Lock. And Rin's like, has this been there the whole time? And Ego's like, that's enough out of you. I like that Ego's like, I can't believe I had to use the electric shock anti-riot measure. He's like, I was worried one of you kids would be roid raging out on the field. I didn't know it would be you and I'd have to actually use this. Which tells me that Ego considered the possibility that somebody could have got out of hand. Because you put all these egos into one building. They're all like these these raging hormonal teenage boys, like putting them all in one building together. He's like, I thought maybe I'd have to use it, but I wasn't expecting it. But y'all proved me wrong. Ego's like, I love that Kamiya voices him because Kamiya's a veteran voice actor and he's older too. He's like older than me. So he has this kind of authoritative presence when he speaks as a voice actor. And it sounds so good. Like he ain't playing no 10-year-old, right? He has a commanding, and then they're like, electric shock. They're like, wait a minute, our uniforms have this all along? And he's like, yes, I had Henri dip into the budget to make this. And so he's like, yeah, the matches are over now, so tryouts are complete. And then he's like, oh, in 6 hours, I'm going to announce the top 11. And it's like, oh, just for right now, okay. I feel like they could have, which, here's the thing. You would not have had the suspense, I think, of being like the top 11 if you had revealed that there were going to be 12 more waiting in the wings. You wouldn't have had that suspense, so I get it. It's fine. But we start out this episode called Flow. All I can think of is Pearl Jam. Also, Ego has been watching. If we look back at this thing, one, he's, again, getting in his L pose where he has no socks on or shoes. But he's got like 3 ramen noodle bowls. He's got a cup of ramen noodle, another heat up thing, like bottles of water everywhere. There's like 3. He has Blue Lock energy. He's already marketing Blue Lock energy. I don't know why the U20 committee is not taking advantage of Ego's marketing campaign. He's got energy drinks. He has electric shock jerseys. He's got like a whole setup. Like, just let Ego finish Blue Lock and hiring him on your marketing team. He'll make you the money back. Like, you've got it set. Him and Henri, give them the marketing budget and they'll be great. But he's sitting there looking through his data. I do like this shot of Ego like framed against the white screen. The anime for Blue Lock does a really good job, and I'm sure the manga does too, of framing Ego in black against the white tones. It looks really good, and I'm kind of all about it. But yeah, so the list of players who passed the 3rd selection, and he has all of them listed there and their numbers. And he says, do you want to remove the selected players from the roster? Which is such a tease, because then you're going to find out later there's still 12 more that can be on it. So I'm like, what? Also, Henri with the denim dress. Yes, please. Good job, Henri. It says, too many cooks spoils the broth. There's also a phrase of too many cooks in the kitchen, which basically means you can't have too many people controlling a group. You can't have too many people controlling a group, or it's going to ruin everything. So we can't have Reen and Ryusei being in charge because it's not, you need one center point for everyone else to gravitate around. And Reen is the obvious choice. Ryusei is chaos and he's talented, but people don't gravitate towards Ryusei. He just does his own thing like Baro, and people just react to him and he reacts to them. And it's not the same as a structure, and Reen is more structured. He would be the better choice for that. And I think she's like, what? And he's like, oh, silly Henri. Some talents have to be left out if you want to win. And I honestly know. I honestly get that because I, as a coach for a competitive team, we had one player in the past that he was just not a team player. Super talented, could score you a lot of points on his own, but he just wasn't a good team player. And he had a bad attitude, and he just wasn't somebody that respected the game, but he didn't respect you. He thought he was like above it. And there are times where I'm like, is it worth it to have that person on the team if they're just kind of like ruin it for everyone else? And it's like, So I get where Ego's coming from. Luckily for him, Baratsuda, he calls right as he's about to do that and solves all of our problems. And I like the Ego's like, he called me at a vitally important time like this as I'm making my selection. Doesn't he know what time I'm doing everything? But anyway, so in 34 seconds, we're waiting in the assembly area for this whole U20s exhibition match to be announced. Like, the graphics on screen are amazing. And then everybody's like, I'm super nervous. And they're like, where's Ryusei? And they're like, oh, he's in the correction room, which we're going to talk about the correction room here in a second, because I'm like, Ego, if Ryusei's parents knew you were doing this, you would have DCFS called on you. Oh my God. So he's like, aside from the top 6, the only guys who scored goals were me, Batra, Baro, and Rayo. Interestingly enough, Rayo and Baro are not chosen as 2 of the top 11, which I had Rayo and Baro and Ryusei in my top 11, and they were replaced by Ada and Ryu, who were in my maybes. I was like, maybe. But then Geen was on my no. I didn't predict Geen was going to be, but they gave him that booty save last episode. That should have been a hint. I should have taken that as they wouldn't show us a save like that for no reason. And now we found out what the reason is. So we're going to talk about this for Baro and Rayo. And Isagi's like, I have a chance. I want to be chosen. He wants the claw to get him, right? He's like, I want to change my own destiny and get on the field. So it's interesting that Ego's like, oh, hey, I'm seeing you guys all for the second time in person. The bags under his eyes, our dude needs some sleep. Daylight savings time needs to do him some favors. But yeah, Jinpachi Ego, or Ego. And so he's like, let me redefine this. We've built a team around the egoist with the highest goal average. And we're going to announce the 11 players. I feel like they could have announced at the end about the other 12, but I can see they were trying to make it dramatic and you know what? If we had to sacrifice that one panel from the manga to get the Sai and Ryusei meetup, I'm fine with that. I'm so fine with it. Okay. So our top 11, we're going to build this all. The guy on top is Reen, and Isagi's like, okay, so let's break this down. Our guy that is in command, our commander-in-chief, right, is Reen. Surprising no one. That makes perfect sense. So let's break this down. Reen is our guy. I love that he has a little tiny band-aid across his nose. It's so cute. I'm like, okay. So he's the highest scorer. So, of course, we're going to do an attack formation around him. And he's calm-headed and cool enough that I think he could work with a multitude of players. Reen's come so far. First season, Reen was like, I don't want to work with any of you plebeians. But now he's like, no, we have to work together so I can kill my brother. So it's all good. Destruction follows destruction. Right? I love it. And he has this little cool mint green breeze. He's a vanguard, and we're going to embody this philosophy of destruction follows destruction. And then the other 10 players are going to be the bullets of said destruction. Makes sense. So we need a goalie. Our goalie, hell yeah, is Geen. Lemon would be so proud. Geen is our goalie. And honestly, Ryusei was not going to be a goalie. Rayo and Baro were not going to be goalies. So, and none of the other players that I can see on here were good for that role, except maybe, I guess, Bachara or Nico, but they're not really, or Tobito, but that's not really, they need to interact with others. So Geen being the goalkeeper makes a lot of sense. And plus, I like Geen a lot. I'm glad he made the cut. I'm so proud of him. So then they need 2 people. They're going to be the center backs. And those are people that are fast and also can accurately do things. So Nico Iki and Ryu Jujube. So we have our 2 center backs that are going to hang around the goalkeepers. So we have Nico and we have Ryu. Well, I feel like that makes a lot of sense because Ryu is very quick. He maybe doesn't have like the stamina that Shigiri does for long sprints, but he can get somewhere very quickly to help Geen out. And Nico has like, he can get the ball back and pinpoint and target onto somebody on the other side of the field and get the ball back over to them. So that makes sense. That makes sense. And here's the other thing. I could see Rayo being maybe in Nico's spot. Maybe. Would Rayo be happy with that? No, probably not. But could I see Baro as one of the center backs? No, he wouldn't want that at all. He'd be terrible with that. So he doesn't fit either of those roles either. Yep, they're overwhelmed the opponents with height and reach, which is Ryu, and a sharp mind to steal the ball and read the field, which is Nico. Those all make perfect sense. I like both of those roles. That's great. They'll use speed. Then we have the fullbacks who use speed and technique to dribble down the flanks. So then we have the fullbacks, which are in this case Bachara, which is no surprise, and Shigiri. I'm so glad Shigiri made the top 11. I'm so glad. I wanted Shigiri to make it, and he did. So yeah, our side backs are Shigiri, no surprise there, and Bachara, no surprise there. Those make perfect sense. I guess Baro could be a fullback. He could be one of the side backs. I feel like he's more of an attacker, but I could see him wiggling that spot. Rayo, I can't see in it. So he's a copier, so that doesn't move. And he's like, I like that Bachara says, no matter where I am on the field, I'll try to score. So just know that. I like that Ryu and Shigiri and Nico are all like, you're not going to do your job. Bachara's like, nope, I'm going to try to score a goal. So he says the defensive midfielder connecting this defensive front line has to be somebody in the center that can do this. And this is where I thought that maybe Rayo would be kind of like a glue to put them together, but Tobito makes way too much sense. Tobito makes perfect sense. He's the crow's nest. He's literally got a wide bird's eye view around him, and he can exploit people's weaknesses. That makes perfect sense to have Tobito in the center. Nope, makes perfect sense. I'm like, okay, that all lines up. Good for him. And he's like, I like that Tobito's like, whatever. His voice actor sounds so good. Tobito's voice actor is amazing. Then we have our attackers. So our attackers that are going to be on the front lines. And Baro could arguably be one of these. Rayo could as well, right? But we have to have defensive walls first. And so Ada and Kinyu are the defensive walls. And that makes sense. Ada proved himself in the one match being the ninja. And then we had, he didn't really get a nickname, Kinyu didn't, but Kinyu's really good at one-on-one. So you have somebody stealing from behind and you have somebody that's on one-on-one to defend it. That all makes sense. I think that fits perfectly. And Kinyu's like, great, it's my pleasure. Then that means we have to have 2 people. We have to have somebody that's like attacking, as the core of the attack. So from there, we obviously are going to have Nagi. Nagi makes a lot of sense because at the core of the offense, you're going to have Nagi, which works out really well. And then the other person that wasn't Nagi that was in on it, is it just Asagi? I mean, Nagi makes sense. He has great ball control. He works well with others. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Why wouldn't he get chosen? And then the last player is going to be the person that is going to help get between Ada and Reen, the one that's going to help subjugate the one who has the highest capacity with Reen. I was like, I remember in season 1 when I was like, I'm never going to ship Asagi with Reen. And now I'm like, of course it's Asagi and Reen. I feel like Jack Nicholson, like, yes. Now I'm like, yeah, no, Asagi has the Kai compatibility with Reen. He is the larva to his owl. He has the assertion and coexistence to be his shadow, but also has the talent to subjugate him and score himself. They're shown back to back. It's so perfect. I'm like, yes, of course. And then like, what if they'd been like, Nanase? But yeah, it's Asagi. I love it. And so he's Nagi and Asagi. And Nagi and Asagi are working together once again. Good for them. These are our 11. I'm here for it. I feel even more here for it because we have the 12s in reserve. I like that Asagi is super happy, but Baro is like pissed. Like we get to see a face. Asagi's like, I got chosen. I'm part of the 11. And he's so excited. But then we see Toki's pissed. Toki looks like South Park character pissed. Raichi's pissed. I want to write down who they showed us in that moment. We had Toki. We had Raichi. We had Reo. We had Baro. Who else did they show us? Oh, they showed us Nanase, which is interesting. Very interesting. And then, yeah, Baro is livid. Baro has nothing to take his aggression out on like Ryusei does. Baro is just fuming that he wasn't chosen. Use this as fuel, Baro. Fuel this to make yourself better, please and thank you. And so then Kinyu is like, why didn't Shido come? Now, they could have announced about the other 12, but then I feel like instead, Ego was like, we need to talk about this instead, and that just ate up too much time. And so they're like, why isn't he? He scored the most goals, so shouldn't he be here? I like that Kinyu is kind of like a teacher's pet. Kinyu is kind of like, but sir, why didn't this? Kinyu is like very quick. He's like the only one that calls Ego out and tries to correct him, and Ego's like, because I said so, so shut up. So it's great. But yeah. So he's like, indeed, Shido should have been part of the 11, but those goals stemmed from his own skills. He did not work well with others. He did not coexist. He did not subjugate. He's like, in those tryouts, he was not able to have a single chemical reaction with Rin. I like that basically what Ego says is that in this game of BL, if you don't got compatibility, it's like a dating app. You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to get booted off. And he's like, plus, this I think was the most important part. He's like, if he gets a red card for violent conduct, it's going to put us at a disadvantage. He's like, I literally don't want to lose because he couldn't control himself from drop kicking someone in the face. So he's like, no, not gonna work. For those reasons, I've determined that he should not be on the same field as Atoshi Rin. But, and none of you can handle anyone of his caliber. I think that's important to mention because I think when they said nobody can handle Ryusei, I was really kind of hoping that Asagi would. I was kind of rooting for Asagi to be the one to tame the beast, but no. No. Sai Atoshi is going to be the one that can handle an egoist of his caliber. Y'all, and he's like someone who gets his thought process and goals to mutually improve the level of play. I like that Tobito looks mad that he's getting like measured up and matched up with Ryusei in that one image. He's like, anybody that could get to his level of play, we have no such talent here in Blue Lock. I'm curious to be like, why Sai? How did Sai know about Ryusei and what drove him to Ryusei? Was it the hair color? Was it the fact that he doesn't get along with his brother Rin? I was like, I'm so curious. Like, I like that they show the matchup and Bachira's face does not match up. Tobito's face doesn't match up. I'm sure if they showed them side by side, Sai's face would match up. Y'all don't even know. Even Sagi's face doesn't match up. So then Igarashi says, well, I don't think there's anyone anywhere in Japan who can handle a guy like him. And Ego's like, well, funny you should mention that. But Kenyu makes a good point. Kenyu's like, it'd be a waste to not make use of those talents. Like, even if the cook is a little bit crazy, it'd be a waste to just let him go. And Ego's like, yeah, he was gonna be our Joker. He was gonna be like, if Reen ended up getting injured or, did something stupid in front of his brother. He's like, we were gonna like sub in Ryusei. But that got canned immediately before the U20 called and made their little demands. So he basically said a few hours ago, I received a phone call from Burasuda from the JFU. And he said that unless we meet a condition proposed by Toshi Sai, he's going to back out of the match. And I love that Reen's immediately like, you mentioned my brother? My brother talked to you? What did he say? Did he talk about me? And he goes like, no. If Toshi Sai doesn't play, the match is going to be canceled because nobody's going to buy the tickets. Nobody's going to want to come unless they can see Sai's hot body on display. Clearly. And Blue Lock will die a natural death. That's what he said. And Ego's like, I'm not about to let this die, so no. So they met the demand. The condition that he proposed was this. And then we cut to Ryusei in the Hannibal Lecter armor. These are teenage boys. Ego, you can't put teenage boys into a straitjacket with a muzzle. Why does he have a muzzle? He didn't bite Reen. He kneed him in the face. At first when I saw the muzzle, I was like, wait a minute. Did he bite Reen? No. His hands and mouth were not responsible for, well, I guess he did put his hands around Reen's mouth, but his arms and mouth had no impact on Reen when he got the card, like, called against him. That wasn't it at all, but why'd you make him a Hannibal Lecter? 3 hours earlier, he's in like this. Honestly, the fact that Ryusei doesn't go crazy because of the blinking white light, what a maniac, what a psychopath. But he's like in there, and he's just going crazy. He's like, let me out of here, you bastard 4-eye. He's just like slowly like jerking back and forth, like I don't know. He's just jerking back and forth. It wasn't Death Note, but this scene, the way that was lit, I've never watched Tokyo Ghoul before, but for some reason it made me think of it. But it just reminded me of Death Note. And he's like, I promise I won't hit anyone anymore. And I was like, but you didn't punch anybody. You kicked him. I was like, what the fudge is this? And then the door opened. Like, the fact that Sai walked into this room, looked at this man duct taped to a stretcher in a straitjacket with a muzzle on and said, you're coming with me. It's meant to be, y'all. It's meant to be. He's like, I know you can hear me. I'll kill you, Mr. Lockoff Specs. And that's when Sai's like, you hate him as much as I do. And you hate my brother as much as I do. You'll do. I love the door opens. Can we talk about, he's like, what's up? He called him, I know what the translation says, Devil Boy. He said Akuma-kun. Akuma-kun, y'all. I can't iterate into words in the English language the amount of fangirling my heart is doing right now, the amount of fan fiction I want to consume involving the two of these individuals. You cannot fathom the depths of explicit fan art I want to look up. I can't emphasize to you what this ship means to me. It is chaos times chaos. It is Pretty Boy times feral Batman that he uses in 6 on his own siblings. It is everything I want in a ship, and I'm feral for it. You all don't understand Akuma-kun. Yeah, I'm like, and then he's like, who the hell are you? So he doesn't know him. And then Sai walks in with his floodwaters on, with his little tennis shoes that have fire coming out. Oh my God. No, you have Asagi with the water. You have Rin with the water. You have Ryusei and Sai with the flames. It is poetry. It is magic. It is music. I could sing from the highest mountain about this pairing. And he says, and then when he looks at her, he says, this cage must be too small for you. That is love language. Oh my God. And he just walks up to him and said, and it just like looks like look at the flames. He has an Akutagawa long sleeved coat jacket with a white shirt, and he's looking. The aesthetic, y'all. The aesthetic that I'm seeing. The coat cape drapesing in the wind. Him eye to eye with this feral beast. The two of them plotting the demise of his brother and his lover's brother. It is... Good shipping days happen today. This made my day. My day was being really shitty so far, and this made my day 1,000 times better. I can't emphasize to you. And he said, when he's like, this cage is too small for you, I'll set you free. There is no heterosexual explanation for what we've just witnessed. There is no heterosexual man that speaks in such metaphors to another man. He's reading poetry. He's quoting the Iliad. He is, And then he's like, I want your ego. Is that all you want, sir? In the palm of your hand, sir? Oh my God. He's like, go berserk for me. Here's the problem, Reen. Here's the problem, Reen. You couldn't stand Ryusei and his chaos, and you wanted to try to tone it down. Sai's not trying to tone it down. Sai's like, I want you to go berserk for me. I want you to just go out there and kill a man for me and let me watch you drink his blood. That's what Sai is. That's the madness that Sai is. Are you freaking kidding me? And then I like that Ryusei's like, I mean, I don't like people telling me what to do, but you're telling me I can go crazy and kill people? I'm here for this. Yes, please. Oh my God, he is the Zod to Sai's Griffith. No, he is the guts to Sai's Griffith. Oh my God. That shot of the two of them with the flames, it's like they're making a deal in hell. It's like Sai walked in like freaking Lucifer and just made a deal with Ryusei and bought his soul. For those of you that aren't shipping Ryusei and Sai, I'm sorry. That I took this 15-minute detour to just gush in front of you. So yeah, the condition was to add a player of his choice from Blue Lock to the U20s. And to add insult to injury, he's like, Hitoshi Sai, I love the ego. Just read, as we saw last episode, read a whole damn article, watched a documentary about how much Rin and Sai have not gotten along and how much Rin has been spurred on by the fact that Sai left him and abandoned him. He knows full and well what he's doing in this moment. He's like, well, it looks like Sai chose Ryusei over all of you, especially you, Rin. Because Rin, he just gets so pissed. And I don't blame him. He's just like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Luckily, then he says we have 15 days left. Now, he says 15 days left. This would have been a perfect time for him to mention the other 12, but he does not, they don't mention it here. Instead, he just goes to like the training schedule and we're going to work hard. I don't know why they didn't include that line unless they're going to dwell on it later, maybe next episode. So, and maybe they just thought the pacing, maybe it was a sensory overload. Maybe they knew that people were so feral over what they just witnessed with Ryusei and Sai that they weren't paying attention. And I wasn't paying attention at this part because I was too feral and fangirling. So maybe they just figured we'll just mention it next week when everyone's calmed down, cleaned their pants, and gotten their wits back together. So, and he's like, that's half-baked, you four-eyed rat. This game is nothing but a stepping stone. Oh, I love that Rin's he's like, this is just a stepping stone to becoming number one in the world. I'm like, oh, Rin looks so good there. He looks so good when he's mad. I'm like, oh. And Isagi's just like, I like that Bachira's like, yep, I already bet my life to be here, so we're good. And Isagi's like, I just want to, be useful and find out what I can do. I love that Tobito says, I ain't average enough to be scared. I'm like, what? And Ada's like, I'm getting so stoked. And Kinyu's like, I'm looking forward to it. And Nagi's like, yep, ready to go. Let's do this. Poor Reo, though. And he's like, that's the ego that I want to see. And then, of course, Asagi's like, I'm going to win this game and go beyond it. Good for you, Asagi. Good for you. Onto the world stage. So see, they mentioned the final training camp, and it's like, you could have mentioned the other thing, but that's okay. So then we have the meeting room for the U20s. We get to see some people. Some of them look like they have very distinctive features, which is good. Of course, David Bowie sits in the back, Akio, or whatever his name is, Akio. We'll talk about him. I'm watching Revolutionary Girl Utena, so his name meaning Akio. Noteworthy. So yeah, so anyway, Sai comes on the team. Look, Sai's just here to trounce his younger brother, and that's literally the reason why he's here. He doesn't give a shit. He's here to make out with Ryusei and trounce his younger brother. He doesn't care about any of these people. So we have Sai, all the way from overseas, y'all. The new generation's world best 11. So he's been on the center stage with the other top 5s that played at the end of season 1. So he's part of them. He's part of the cool club. Now, this one guy who has the Peaky Blinders haircut, he looks kind of like looks like Flock from Attack on Titan. I can see that now. He also looks like, if you've watched Free Iwatobi Swim Club, the character Asahi and Kasumi, who I kind of ship together, he looks like their love child. But he's like, if that love child was mixed with Flock from Attack on Titan, that would be this guy. Shudo is his name, I believe. And he's like, well, he looks like an unpleasant prince to me. So he's a forward, Sendo Shudo. I like Shudo's character. I feel like Shudo is going to be a great foil for Sai and Ryusei, and also going to be like the third wheel. So then they're like, hey, he can hear you. And they're like, who's that guy? And they're like, he's a freebie that came with Sai. Who knows? I will say this. Ryusei does not look as good in white. White is not becoming on Ryusei. He looks much better in black and blue. But what can we do? Of course, black and blue, red and white, opposite colors, fire and red and white, water with blue and black. The poetry writes itself, y'all. The poetry writes itself. Anyway, so like they're representing Japan, so we can't afford to lose. Fun times. And I love the Sai. Sai's like, I don't care about any of you. He has like the same eyes as Rin. He just cares even less. And Ryusei is like, oh, I'm actually all about this. I'm all about this. He's like, I don't have interest. I love that Shudo's like, you're being an asshole. He's like, a chance like this doesn't come twice in your playing careers. So I like that Sai just immediately is like, just don't irritate me. I mean, the Itoshi brothers are, if anything, blunt, right? Although I will argue that Rin has a lot more emotion, I feel, than Sai. And then they're all like, oh, well, what a confidence. And he's like, well, Mr. Tensai, don't you underestimate us. He's like, people may have made a fuss about you overseas, but that's just at the academy. That's just at college, whatever. And he's like, we're in Japan's top league, and I'm the starting forward. I like that he's basically like, it's like, bring it on. He's like, this is not a cheerocracy. He's like, so watch your mouth. And Sai's like, and? He's like, yeah, you're playing for the Japanese team, but that's not a compliment. He's like, I'm sure that you make an annual salary of 50 million yen. You want to marry a pinup model and have a happy family. Good for you. Although I feel like we have also established that Shudo is heterosexual, so it's fine. He's here to marry her, so it's great. Good for him. But this is what gets me, right? This is what gets me. Is that Sai's like, oh, so you're just an average, like, professional soccer player. You make this big salary. You've got a Playboy model, and you have, like, this happy family. Good for you. He's like, I'm not here for the heterosexual agenda. I'm like, what? He's like, that's the limits of your soccer career. And he's like, my only interest is becoming the best in the world. I'm not interested in your luxury life. The depth of your desire is nowhere near mine. He's like, I'm into something that's beyond your straight fantasy. I'm like, oh my God. And I know I'm using a lot of hyperbole and making this a yaoi BL, but humor me. Let me have this. That's amazing. You could just symbolically do so much with it. And I love that. And for a second, Shudo's like, I want to be the very best. And then Ryusei's like, you should watch your mouth. Like, he's like, don't you be talking about my man. And then it's like his mouth takes up the whole screen. And then he just like forces the gay agenda down on top of Shudo. Like, just slams him into the table. You waste of a striker. And he's like, see you in your next life. And I love that Sai's like, oh, now come on, man. Well, he doesn't actually say anything, does he? You've got 0 sense if you're concerned about status. Freaking Ryusei is just hovering around like Ryuk next to Light Yagami. And then you're like, what's your deal? That's our star player. And he's like, oh. He's like, y'all want to go? Like, he looks so feral. And Sai's just like, yeah. Sai's like, he'll do. I'm so obsessed. I'm so obsessed. He's like, if I win, put me in the starting lineup. And they're like, what? He's like, shut up, freebie. He's like, don't you dare insult me. And he's like, here's my first goal. And that, notice, Sai was not going to get in the middle of this. Sai was like, yeah, kick his ass, I guess. It's hot. I'll watch over here on the sidelines. Don't worry about me. But David Bowie, he's going to project. He's going to protect the heterosexual agenda today because he's like, no. And I like that Ryusei, ombre, two-toned hair man, meets another ombre, two-toned hair man, but this guy has different colored eyes, so he's got you a little bit one-upped. He's like, that's enough. He's like, you know, talk about being underestimated. He basically just throws Ryusei to the ground like it's nothing. I love the vibe that our David Bowie guy gives off, calling him love the spirit little puppy, like daddy vibes, daddy dilf vibes all day long. Look, I'm a woman in my 30s. These teenagers are not appropriate for me. This guy, though, looks like he's in his late 20s. I can work with that. I'm like, he looks like he's giving off daddy vibes. Yes, please, sir. Mm-hmm. Now, I could be wrong and he could be like 22, but he's giving off like Ramirez from Haikyuu, giving me off those vibes. I'm here for it. It's on the field that you're supposed to be showing your results. But little genius, you're a little newcomer too. I like that he immediately calls them little puppy and little genius. Which again, I've just caught up with Berserk. Little puppy and little genius. If that is not Griffith and Guts, I'm just saying. Oh my God. He's like, you're a newcomer too. Why don't you win or trust with... So why don't you win our trust with your play? I like that he's like... David Bowie's character's like, look, I get that you've come here. You don't think we're great, but you're going to have to win our trust. So prove to us that you're a good player. And the two-toned eye is like, as the defensive line. Okay. So, all right. So the defensive line, we have David Bowie there. Figures he's going to be the one that we have to get past. He's going to be the hard one, right? Then we have Darai Moroku, who has as the spot in the middle of his head, it's a soccer ball. Darai, my dude, the soccer ball in the middle of your head is amazing. So our side backs. So our side backs, which are basically going to be Nico and Aryu's, so Bachara and Chigiri's opponents are going to be Darai. And also Narutepe. Now, look, mangaka of Blue Lock, I understand that not all anime characters have to look distinctly different. They can all look similar in a way, but Narutepe is Bokuto. They have the same hair. It's the same color. All you've done is he has eyes that look like the Pokemon Ditto. It's like the Pokemon Ditto looked at a picture of Bokuto from Haikyuu and went bloop and then became Narutepe. Now, mangaka. Let's be real. Okay, so our center backs are going to be Neo Kazuma and Oliver Aiku. Oliver. Ooh, Oliver. Oliver and Company, why should I worry? Oh my gosh. So our opponents, we have Oliver. Oliver seems like he's the captain. He's one of the center backs. I find that interesting because what that is establishing is that the four we've just been introduced for the U20 team is going to be our problems. Because if Isagi and Rin and Nagi and the others are going to score a goal, they are going to have to get through these four, which especially if Oliver is by the goal, that's gonna be a problem. I like the setup that this is doing of the U20 being a defensive team that's hard to score against, because Sai had brought up that the whole problem was that they're not a strong offensive team, which makes sense. And in the long run, Ego's been arguing that, I mean, they basically seem like they are the antithesis of what Ego is proposing. Ego is like, no, this is not going to win us the World Cup being a defensive team. We have to be offensive. Soccer is an offensive sport. You can be a great defensive team, but at the end of the day, you got to score goals to win the game. So I can see why he's trying to uproot and completely rework this entire premise. That makes sense. But damn, Oliver, I'm obsessed with Oliver. I love him. I like this team so far. Kazuma, he looks great. He looks cool. Kazuma and Oliver, they look like they've been drinking buddies and they're like in their mid-20s. I'm here for them. They're like, we've got your back. He's basically like, okay, Sai, if you and Ryusei are the attackers, we're the ones that got your back. He also has a green eye and a blue eye, so he's got the colors of this series on lockdown. Okay, I will say, during this scene, we cut back to our primary trio, which is Chigiri, Bachara, and Isagi, which, you know what? I'm so glad we come back to those three. It's been a long time since we've seen the three of them in a group together, and you kind of forget that we sort of started out with the three of them together, so it's kind of cool. I like that. I'll just, say what everybody's thinking. There's some really unintentionally funny CGI in this entire sequence. I laughed at it in the reaction. It's worth noting, but we all know this. So Aiku is a tall defender who got offers from Italy. Okay. So here we have all this information. Aiku plays center back, and the Japan team, he has roots in Sweden, Germany, and Japan. As a defender, his physique and leadership skills are second to none. He's one of the most notable players of who will be the next generation. He received offers from Italy when he was younger, something, converted to a defender, and his talent blossomed. Okay, it says when he was younger, he played keeper. Okay, so he's been a goalkeeper before. Well, okay. That means he's going to be really hard to get around. They play a Kate Nashio system. Okay, whatever that means. They're a defensive team. And Asagi's like, so it's going to be hard if they're really good. And then I like Bachara's just like, we just got to smash them. Keep it simple, stupid. We just got to get through it, right? We're going to use the KISS method in this. I love it. Like, just don't second guess yourself. They are the strongest players, so it won't be easy. And Bachara's like, we just need to smash him. And Sagi's like, is it really that simple? And he's like, well, that's just it. That's all we got to do. Like, let's not discount our abilities. Just keep it straightforward. So then as he's walking back, he's like, we just got to smash him, huh? I think that I'm still lacking in power. So he's like, maybe if I go work out. And so then he's like, entering that trance-like state was a total fluke. So how can I make it not a fluke? He's like, if I could use that on command. And then, for no reason at all, we go to this gym scene. There's some moments, that you see in media and you go, those were choices. Like in Top Gun, that volleyball scene. In this scene where Reen is just by himself doing enough leg crunches to get them thighs to watermelon smashing strength, and Isagi just happens to walk in on him. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. But yeah, he walks in and he's like, hey, what I like is that Isagi is looking out for Reen. Because Reen is not in a good headspace. Reen is so obsessed with his brother that he could possibly hurt himself. And I like that Isagi's like, hey, I don't mean to step on toes, man, but you could hurt yourself and I don't want you to do that. And I like that he's like, if you overdo it and get injured, it's going to be a problem. Now, do I think this is maybe foreshadowing that he could get injured? Maybe. Do I think that he'll get injured to the point where he'll get taken out? I don't think so, because they don't really have anybody that can replace Reen. But I won't be surprised if this is setting up a foreshadowing moment where in the middle of the final game and the match, Rin ends up having an injury and Asagi's got to lead them and take the lead. And that would be your moment for your main character to step in, so we can see what we do with that. But damn them thighs and them abs. He's like, I get to play against my brother. I get to crush him and surpass him. And that face he makes, it's like, Rin feels betrayed that his brother chose Ryusei over him. He feels betrayed that his brother just left without telling him why. He's like, I have to get better than him so I can make him answer to me. Like, there's so much in that look. He's like, you have no idea how much I've longed for this moment. And Asagi's like, I sure don't. I like this Asagi's like, okay. I like that poor Asagi and Ryusei, they both look at these two Itoshi brothers who are absolutely batshit insane for different reasons. And they're like, I can match that freak. That's the thing. Ryusei can match size freak. And Asagi can match Rin's. So it's amazing. I love it. And they sing there like, just, you can make that panting scene whatever you want to. And Asagi's like, here's my water bottle I got here. And Rin's like, I don't need it. And I like that Asagi's kind of figured out how to get through to Rin. Because he's like, if you just try to be nice, Rin's going to be like, I don't need you. But get on his level. He's like, if you get injured, Blue Lock's over. And I don't want to have to deal with that. So just, I'm not telling you to cause problems for me. So just drink it. And that's what you got to say to Rin. You got to be blunt and be like that. And he's like, fine. I don't want to show emotions of whatever. And then he's like, it's lukewarm. And he's like, can it? Which is funny because, you know, Rin gave him such a hard time about everything being lukewarm in the past. So it only makes sense that the water is that way in this. But, So Ego has got the whole team gathered and assembled. I want to see real quick how many there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to count from the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Maybe there's 35 there. I think I miscounted. There's 35 there, I'm pretty sure. Well, but there would be 34 there because Ryusei's gone. So he's like, okay, you've training, so let's talk about flow. And he basically, I honestly thought this was really fun. I liked this message that Ego is giving in this moment, because basically what Ego is doing is expressing to them, I kind of like this because on the surface, it makes sense. You don't want to be so bored because you're not challenged, because then you won't grow. And I think that is where Rin was back when Sai originally left, is when Sai came back in the flashback scene that we've gotten, that Rin had just kind of gotten stagnant in his training because he wasn't facing a challenge that was great enough. So Sai leaving gave him that challenge. But then you don't want to be faced with a challenge that you don't think you can pass, because then you end up creating all this anxiety and you psych yourself out and you fall into a pit of despair. So it's finding that nice little Goldilocks middle ground between the two, so that you can find a way to motivate yourself and also challenge yourself and grow from it. That's the flow, right? The state of enjoying whatever it is and getting your brain all excited. That's what it is, which is exciting. It's fun. It's fun to be challenged, to do a puzzle. And he's like, think back to when you broke out of your shells here and what that did. He's like, you poured everything into that one play. You accessed the flow. And Ego's explanation, Ego is surprisingly a pretty good, effective teacher as far as this goes. Isagi's like, that's what I've been looking for. The explanation of what that moment was. It was the flow, right? The other thing I liked about this entire scene was it was basically like an anti-TikTok statement, an anti-social media. He was like, everybody just sits there and scrolls on social media, but that's not the flow. That's just losing yourself into boredom. And it's not what you think it is. He's like, your daily life is flooded with all this information and entertainment. It's an endless hell to cover up your boredom and anxiety. So people get absorbed. He's like, people get easily absorbed into something like that. Then we use a random guy that looks like Baro's cousin. He looks like if Baro and Asagi had a love child, is what he looks like. He's like, you can get in a trance-like state from your phone. I like this guy, like on his desk up there's like a lot of like manscaping, like there's scissors, but also looks like beauty products. And then he's like, that is not the flow that you actively activate. That's available only to you. He's like, that's not classified as ego in my book. What's ego is the exhilaration when you gain a new weapon, when you score a goal. So this was effectively a PSA to get off your phones and go out and play a sport or do something. That's what this was, essentially. Otto from Neon Genesis would be proud. Otto would be proud of ego and his claims, which is fun, right? He would be proud of him. The joy is something that only belongs to you. And that's kind of what's nice about competitive sports. Like when I tell the students that are on the team for public speaking that it is a team activity. Like I said, public speaking competitively reminds me a lot of soccer in a way because it is a team sport, but you yourself are rewarded individually. So you can create something that will give joy to you just as much as your team, which is important, right? We should all have little personal joys. But Blue Lock's the place where you escape the diarrhea of that passive trance-like state and fully immerse yourself and activate the flow. Everything you've experienced. I like that Reen is so like over this lecture. Everybody else is paying attention, but Reen's like, God, he keeps talking. He just has a bored look on his face. Asagi's eating this up. Asagi's eyes are glowing. He's so excited. He's like, I see, this was it. Every time I became absorbed in my potential, I grew. And our goal is to defeat the Japan U20. Does it make you feel anxious? Bored? No. And Asagi says, the challenge I can immerse myself in. Yep. So here we go. We got to get on that grand stage and prepare. The new generation of egoists who will tear down the status quo. All right. I like that shot of Asagi in the chair. And he's like, I'll find it. The goal I can immerse myself in that belongs only to me. So then we have the additional time, which is adorable. I love that we have Gin and Ryu and Nico working out together. And Ryu is convincing them all to be glam, which is adorable. I love Nico. Nico is so sweet in this. He was precious. He's like, he just wants to get to know him. He's like, what's your guy's favorite color? And it's just really cute. And he asks what they do. I'm not surprised that Gin is like a nature guy and likes going outdoors. But I want to say this. He's like, I like wild vegetables and I like to take on wild boars. I also sumo wrestle my bear friend, which is cute. And he kind of reminds me of, the one guy that's wild in Demon Slayer. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But they would get along. But then he's like, I like to play Super Smash Brothers and look for UFOs. And Nico's like, I don't understand that. That last part didn't make sense. I will stick up for Gin in this moment because I too was raised in a rural environment out in the middle of the wilderness. And when you're a kid out in the middle of the wilderness, you do hang out outside. You do go see animals in nature. You do all that. But also, you don't got much to do. So you know what you do when you're a kid out there? If you have a video game system, like my brother and I had a PlayStation, you play PlayStation games because you have nothing else to do. And yeah, you go look for UFOs because you're in the middle of the countryside. You see them all the time in the air. So I actually related to a lot of what Gin said. I got it. I was like, I get it, my friend. I understand where you're coming from. That's all well and good. And Nico's like, I just don't understand the second half of that. Also, you can see where Gin has piercings in his ear. He like has where he has either piercings in his ear or he has like where he was clawed by a bear. One of the two. Or Ryusei try to bite him. And then his hobbies are pursuing ultimate glam. What that is, what that looks like, not a problem, not a thing. He also looks like, with the trench coat, he looks like Eren Yeager. I'm just saying! The chairs, he stole that outfit from season 4 Eren. I'm just saying. Empty your mind and even the fire feels glam. And Nico's like, well, I don't want to judge them. I want to be open-minded. So I like you both are unique. And he's like, how do I gain their trust? And Ryu's like, would you like to pursue the way of glam with me? Immerse your body fully. And Gin's like this. And he's like, what about this? And they're like, yes. The glam OSHA. Everything about this is amazing. It's awesome. I love that Nico's getting to be friends with them. Good for him. Good for him. Yeah, this whole episode, I talked for over an hour about it. It was absolutely amazing. I'm obsessed. Obsessed with the shipping. Y'all don't even know. But yeah. So this episode was worth the wait. Sorry I made y'all wait on Patreon. YouTube will see this on time. But episode 6, I will be able to watch Saturday, so that'll be great. But yeah, y'all, I can't wait to hear your thoughts down below in the comments section. But oh, by the way, before we go on further, we might as well talk about who the other 12 is. You're like, bitch, we've been waiting all review to hear that. So, okay, we have what we have left. What's interesting to me is from the second selection, again, team 4, nobody. Surprising no one. Team 7, nobody came from that one. Geen and Nico were the only ones from their team. Nagi and Shigiri were the only ones from their second selection team. And then Tobito, Ada, and Kinyu came from theirs. And then the ones with the most was Rin, Ryu, Batra, and Asagi. Toki got left in the dust. So, now, do I think, we have the top 12 here. Do I think Toki can make the top 12? I think so. Baro, oh yeah. Baro is going to be like all about that shit. Rayo, absolutely. And then also, I'm very curious because Raichi was there. Raichi's going to want to catch up with Geen and Nanase. Nanase got featured. I was like, are we going to see some Nanase growth? All right, come on, Gentle World. Come on, Parallel Gentle World. So, Toki, Baro, and possibly Nanase. And then we also had Rayo. And then we also had, Igarashi was in there too, wasn't he? And Raichi. And where's Raichi at? I'm going to find him real quick. Yep. So, I don't really care for Igarashi. I'm sad he was the one that got in, except for Kunigami. But I'm going to put him down here in the 12th spot. I think Igarashi could have a chance to be there for comedic relief. Now, who do I think is not going to make it? Well, also, let's put Zantetsu in there. Zantetsu, we want to see more with him. Let's get Zantetsu in there. Who do I think is not going to make it? Kiora? No, I don't think so. Lee Care? No. The guy with number 18's hair? No. Taiga? I don't know about that. What about, let me see here. Where's Hiyori at? I'm going to put Hiyori. I want Hiyori to make it. I want Hiyori to get in that top 12. I think he can. I think he's proven himself. Do I think Tanaka, Bob Ross? No. Shiguma? No. Corona and Sakura? No. Sara Madara? No. Nishi? Okay. Let me get on here. Ishikari is the one that is super tall. Maybe. I could see Ishikari. We did establish that here's the thing. I'm going to put Ishikari on there because he's really tall. If something happens to Geen or Uryu, we'll need somebody tall to replace them. So we'll put Ishikari on there because that could help. Also, Nishioka, the one that was injured, we didn't get to see him play. We haven't, but I feel like they're going to keep him in the wings. Nishioka, we're going to keep him in the wings. I feel like he's going to come out and be a wild dark horse. He's the one that everybody was saying was like the other Messai. So if something happens to Rin, maybe he could play. So we're just going to have to hold off on that. But we're going to put them on down there. And then Taiga's the one that kind of looks like Raichi. He might stick around. They showed him in the manga panel, so he might stick around. We'll keep Taiga on there for good measure. And then there is the one that looks like Kilio's brother, Hiragi. Then there's Indoji that has a tiger hair, and then Haiji has the paper mache hair. Who else was in that one shot? The one guy that has the number 18 hair, Himiza, was shown. So, we'll put Himiza as the 8th one. He was the number 18. He was the one there. I don't know if he's going to end up being in this, but I'm actually going to keep him on there because why not? So I'm going to basically circle my ones I think are going to make the cut. As far as the 12 that are left. Oh, Wanama! Oh, damn, I forgot about Wanama. Ooh, do we think Wanama is making it? Do we think Wanama is going to make it over Taiga? And Himiza, you know what? Yeah, number 18's not doing it for me. I want Wanama to make it. Give me Wanama. Give me him. If I discounted Himiza to begin with, but discount Raichi, we're going to put Taiga or Himiza. I'm going to put like a little, could be either one. And then Wanama. That's what we're going to do. There we go. There we go. But yeah, oh my God, y'all. We're going to see how this other 12 player thing goes and what we're going to get. But oh my God, I'm tired now. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'm going to be back real soon with episode 6 of Blue Lock. Bye.